Welcome to Old Fashioned Finance, the podcast that mixes cocktails and high finance. I'm your host, Jason Demland, and I am joined, as always, and in the future, by my good friend and fellow money muddlers, Caleb Frankert and Jason Burnell.
Jason, can a podcast about finance be entertaining?
Not without alcohol!
Woo! All right, let's mix it up.
All right, today we've got a great episode in store for you out there. We're talking about a very New Year's-y kind of cocktail and a very New Year's-y list of financial resolutions. So before we dive into today's content, how the heck are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Happy.
I'm good.
Ready for
Happy
the
to
new
be
year.
here.
Yeah, Happy New Year's. It's, the end of one and the beginning of another.
I mean, just an arbitrary date on the calendar, but here we go.
But it means a lot.
It means a lot.
This episode is being recorded before Christmas, but will air after Christmas. So this is the episode from Christmas past from the future.
Also, New Year's Eve from the
New Year-
future from the more past.
How do you
Because it
set
was-
your flux capacitor to go to flux? Is that what it's called?
It's going to be easy. People will be so busy. They're probably listening to this after New Year. Anyway, if you're not, this is gonna charge you up for the New Year. You're going to
That's
be
right.
ready to go. You're all Christmas partied out.
Yep.
You're realizing that all you have ahead of you, if you're in the Midwest, is slush and cold and depressing no sun for like the
Yeah.
next 3 months.
And
The
then
best
we've
part
got
of winter is over.
February to look forward to. The longest, shortest month ever.
The longest short.
And then March, and then the lousy smarch weather that shows up.
Hey, this is vocal sunshine right here. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that's you know what? I think we should add that to the tagline. for
Vocal
this podcast.
sunshine?
Vocal sunshine.
For the winter months.
That's right.
Yeah.
Get your vitamin D right here.
All right. So what are we talking about today, Jason?
You brought me for a reason.
Today's cocktail is the French 75, Caleb, which I had never heard of. I'll just be honest. As a professional cocktail person nowadays, there are still many things that I do not know. Most of them, like what an aperitif is, or
You know what that is, though.
what was the thing I just asked you today? What up
Digestive?
versus
Oh,
on the
yeah,
rocks?
yeah, yeah. What's
means?
up? This drink is served up.
Well-
although, depending on what recipe you're looking at.
Yeah. So Caleb, dive in. The
Yeah.
French 75. It's New Year's Eve. Why? And what the heck is it?
Well, that bottle over there, champagne, or the closest thing we have to it, that's not a bottle of Dom. But if it was, we wouldn't be mixing it anyway. So it's a champagne
We might.
drink.
Good
Let's
standards.
just say when I popped the cork, it flew way across the office. So
That means that's a sign of good champagne, I think.
I think so.
was very-
There's carbonation.
Either
Yeah.
that or you shook it. One of the
I did
two.
not. No foam
very
anywhere.
careful.
NBA final style.
I
huh?
didn't piss out all over the office. So that
So the French 75, to keep us on track, is actually a pretty old cocktail, I found out. And this is like Prohibition era. And it's in the Savoy cocktail book that we reference quite a bit. Harry Craddock, the
thief of cocktails.
that's when it kind of solidified its place in history, when it made it into that Savoy cocktail book. Named after a French 75 millimeter gun.
Yeah. Actually, have you heard of this? You're kind of a war
No,
buff.
no.
So
I have a 22 millimeter.
Yeah,
A
that's
75 would hurt
gigantic.
really bad,
it's,
right?
It's a lot of millimeters.
Yeah.
Both hands, I think.
It's a cannon. And it was kind of revolutionary for cannons. I did a little bit of reading on it.
Okay.
It was the first cannon of its kind to not like blow backwards. It had a fixed wheelbase and a hydraulic kind of compression dealie to keep it from going way out of whack. So these Frenchmen could fire this cannon 10 rounds a minute. So that was quite an advance back then, and this is like late 1800s, early 1900s actually. So we're like World War I era cannon. So it's pretty cool. All you had to do is when the cannon thing flopped back down, load it back up and fire it again. And French 75 is English for 60 cans, which is French for 75.
Cool.
You just made all of that up.
No, here's an interesting anecdote. I took French in high school. I'm really bad at it. If there's any actual French speakers out there, they are humiliated right now for me. But if I'm not mistaken, 60 cans is 60-15 in English. So that's how they do 75. And I don't know why.
Oh, I see.
Somebody write the show and let us know why. That doesn't really have much to do with the canon or this drink.
No.
But I wanted to educate you all that didn't know that.
I honestly can't figure out why this drink is named a French 75, but it's stuck. So that's what we're going to call it, dang it.
I think it's because it'll knock you on your butt.
Well, okay.
But
we haven't tried this yet.
No. Well, let's take it more.
All reviews say that it's not. It's a lot less violent than the actual canon. So
We'll find out.
Let's take. You know what? Cheers, guys.
Oh, cheers.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's. I don't recommend inhaling.
Ooh. Okay.
That's fun. Do you
What do you think about it right now? Go.
Knocked me on my butt.
do you want to try again without breathing in? That is delicious. I really love champagne. I really love champagne drinks. Yeah, you got to watch out for that thing.
He'll get you.
Having the lemon in here makes it super refreshing.
I'm surprised
delightful.
I like it with the lemon.
It's not overly sour, so it's not like the sours that we've done on this show.
No.
Well, let me talk about the ingredients. You might be surprised.
Okay. I bet there's lemon something.
So now, generally, you don't like lemon juice at all in your cocktail.
It has ruined so many cocktails for me.
This one's made, I got the recipe off of liquor.com, which is different from the Savoy recipe, and I'll go over that real quick. But 1 ounce of gin, a half ounce of lemon juice, a half ounce of simple syrup, and 3 ounces of champagne. I mixed it up in a mixing glass with ice and then strained it into our wine glass here. I didn't have any champagne flutes. That's what you're supposed to do. But there's a lot more lemon in there than what I guess for as much lemon as is in there, I like this. This is pretty good.
I think that for as much lemon as there's a balancing amount of sugar. I think that's probably what's doing it.
Right.
So there's some controversy on this one. All the good ones have controversy.
Let's hear it.
Right?
Well, yeah. I mean, cocktail history, if there's anything we've learned, it's that nobody knows anything about when anything happened.
Right.
And everybody has stolen everything from everyone else.
I'm going to read the recipe from the Savoy cocktail book, which is just slightly different. 2/3 gin, 1/3 lemon juice, 1 spoonful powdered sugar. Pour into a tall glass containing cracked ice and fill up with champagne. You know, a lot of these recipes are like, just top off with this.
Yeah.
But how big is your glass?
That's a lot of champagne. I mean,
Yeah.
in my mind, that would be a lot of champagne.
I think there was
I
a
were
lot
to
more.
top it off.
There was a lot more standardized glasses back, like Prohibition time.
Okay.
So, like wine glass, you would see that. That actually, it was, I think, a 2-ounce jigger full, like as a portion. And I think the glasses were, now I don't know how many ounces. It was like 6, 8, 4, something like that.
You weren't using a giant glass, in other words.
Hey, I don't think so. Like, they'd be different. Like, a highball had a specific amount of ounces.
Okay.
How many ounces in a regular wine glass that we use
I
now?
thought like 8, but it's maybe even a little bit more than that.
I don't know.
You know what?
Go wrong.
We don't have that much time to spend on it. This is now a 30-minute show. But what was interesting in the Savoy cocktail book is there was a little, not all of these have comments, but it said underneath in red, hits with remarkable precision.
There's
I think the French 75 connection.
Yeah,
I like
connection.
French connection. Oh man,
I think I might make these for New Year's Eve. Not gonna lie,
you might as well. We just have regular champagne on New Year's Eve.
This is better.
No,
It
this is way better than
This
regular
is
champagne.
amazing, actually, compared to that. And you get gin.
You don't have to
The
buy a
gin-
real
the-
expensive champagne.
No.
That's the thing.
The gin it makes a huge difference in this drink. I mean, it makes it, it's really smooth.
It is.
it's delightful.
Here's where some of the controversy comes in. Little did they know when this drink was concocted that gin played really well with champagne. Actually, what was more commonly paired with champagne was cognac. Yeah. So there are a lot of French 75 recipes out there that call for cognac instead. David Wondrich, I believe, said, hey, either or, man, whichever, they're both pretty good.
You try it out. Cognac seems a lot more French than gin.
It sure does.
Yeah.
British booze.
All right, well, that's probably enough about the drink, right, Jason?
We can. I would love to pontificate on it more.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about. No, let's move on. So that brings us to our finance topic of the day. New Year's is approaching. On the new year, many folks decide that it's time to make some resolutions, to decide to do some things good for themselves, because every other time was really inconvenient. It's December 1st. I'm not going to make a resolution. I'm going to live like crap for another month. And then
I'm hoping to not do anything.
Yeah.
In January, I will start something good. Well, I know that usually we're talking about eating better or working out. Those are really big New Year's resolutions, but financial resolutions are really popular.
Yeah.
And if you get on the internet and just look for some financial New Year resolutions, you will see a bunch. And that's exactly what I did. And I Googled and found from Schwab an article about just 5 New Year's resolutions that will get you in financial shape for 2022. And I thought it would be fun to go through those and kind of give our 2 cents on whether these are good resolutions, how you can actually keep them, and that sort of thing.
Is this one of those classic for it or again it?
At the end of the day, yeah. Okay. Are you for it or are you against it?
All right, well, let's get right into it, Jason.
All right. New Year's resolution, financial resolution, number 1. Create a budget. Go.
Wow. That's a big one.
Yeah. Are you for it or are you against it?
Oh, I see. That's how we're doing this.
I'm against it.
Wait, what? No,
I mean,
not.
for it. I'll tell you what I'm for, having a budget. What I'm against is actually doing the work.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I mean, I've found that most people's budgeting techniques are really, really they're various. I mean, they're all over the place. I'm kind of loose on this one. I'll be honest. I don't need to have like a ledger with exact like precision, but that makes sense. You know, for me, it's kind of a fluffy thing. I don't know. I think that that talking about money is what the resolution 1 should be.
Talking about money.
Like talking about it with your significant other, spouse. You need a plan.
That's a good first step.
Yeah, because I think we jump right into budget and everyone sees these budgeting forms and then it's just like hit the panic button. And the reality is some variation of, you know, looking at my bank records or using envelopes or, you know, whatever technique works. It really comes down to, are we on the same page at the end of the day? And can we, you know, pinky swear and spit shake on it? And I think that's everything when it comes to budgeting.
You know, I think because most resolutions, not just financial resolutions, are abandoned pretty early on. I wrote a blog about that last year. It's surprising how many are abandoned. There's something called National Quitters Day, by the way.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm. So I always like to say, hey, happy National Quitters Day. How are your resolutions going? I think, like you said, you know, take it one step at a time. The first step is make sure you're on the same page, right? Having the most precise budget in the world laid out doesn't make any sense if you're not on the same page and you're not going to stick to it. It increases the likelihood of abandoning it by that National Quitters Day. So I think really taking the first steps in that right direction is just as important probably. And when it comes to a budget, it's so easy to get off track. It's so easy to be discouraged and just scrap the whole thing. A budget's a living and breathing thing. You make adjustments on the fly. You're probably making adjustments every month. I think that's another big one. Don't be discouraged if it doesn't seem to work right away. And like every other resolution that you have, you decide you quit it. You gotta keep at this.
That's why I'm coming back to just the basics of the basics here. I would say select maybe 2 or 3 things that you're going to try to do the first month. Like for me, it's delete every credit card out of the Amazon Prime account. Okay, no more drinking and buying Amazon Prime whatever. Okay, like we don't need that. You know, something as basic as that, and see how it goes. Make it harder.
I think that a gradual approach is, but we've talked about budgeting before, and there's some psychological block to doing this because it can be overwhelming. You can hold yourself to too high of a standard. If you're married, one of you can be a lot more particular than the other one. That always happens. So I think it does make a lot of sense to set smaller goals throughout the year. And like you said, Caleb, it is an ongoing, living kind of thing. So maybe your goal is to look at your finances once a month, once a week, and just try to hold yourself to that and gradually compound on that with more that you add. But I will stand for budgeting. Doing it always seems overwhelming, but it's once you actually look at all the money, rarely have I gone through it with somebody and it been a lot worse than what they had thought. Like they might be spending a lot more money in some places than they thought they were, but usually they're like, it's okay if I don't spend 20% of my income on Lego bricks.
It's usually way more manageable than what people want to believe, and that's the reason people don't look at it in the first place, is they're afraid of what they might find out when they see where the money's going. But again, it's usually pretty manageable if you're just intentional with and honest with yourself.
Yeah, and I think that's why I like to use the opportunity as the new year of saying, I'm going to get on the same page as my spouse.
Yeah.
We're going to communicate, and we're going to plan a time that's actually going to happen. And the budget's important, but I don't. If you didn't save $5 last year, and all of a sudden you're going to max out your IRA, that's not probably going to occur. Let's ease into it a little bit and see where we go from there.
Yeah, try to be realistic.
Like any resolution.
Yeah, it's really true. Like we were like, I'm going to eat healthy.
Yeah,
and
right.
December 31st, you just had 6,000 calories of candy.
I had 2 party packs at Taco Bell.
And the next day, you're like, I'm only eating broccoli.
Yeah, I was going to say, like that commercial, you hear the gong, and you go, oh, Taco Bell. That's me.
On my drive
I'm going to eat
home
healthy
from work.
this year. Gong.
You know, that every time we talk about budgeting or finance, I always think of physical fitness and nutrition. They seem really similar. My sister is a nutritionist. You guys know. She makes us all feel bad about ourselves.
In so many
but
ways.
not really. She's very encouraging. I'm going to plug her. Check out my sister.
That seems inappropriate.
Hey,
she is married and she has several children.
Don't check her out.
If you check my sister out, I will get you.
Once the shoulder's back, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, you just wait. I'm going to be even stronger when this is done. No, check out her business.
There you
go. Basic Body Solutions. But basically, we talk all the time about the same psychological impact of somebody that knows exactly what to do, but doesn't do it. And that's the same with finance, the same with fitness. We all know that we shouldn't have just eaten so much for lunch, but we did anyway.
That was fun.
It's the same. It's the same with finance. So I like the idea of taking baby steps, taking a measured approach. This article here has like a bunch of tips on how to make your budget happen. What do you guys think about this? Pay yourself first. Calculate your personal net worth annually. Project the cost of essential big ticket items throughout the year. Retired? Invest your living expense money conservatively or prepare for emergencies. Oh, Caleb dislikes one of those.
Hey, the rest of it sounds like good old-fashioned budgeting to me. The invest your living expenses money conservatively. Okay, maybe when I read that, all right, it sounds
work with
worse
a
than it
qualified
is.
financial planner.
Well, it's talking about having your expenses liquid, like 12 months.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, we
makes
did a
sense.
retirement rum time about this. Anyway.
Yeah, check that out, y'all.
You know what? No need to go into that too much. This sounds like basic budgeting. Budgeting for it or again it for the new year.
For it.
I'm for it.
I'm for it.
Make it a New Year's resolution, y'all.
French 75.
Ding.
For it or again it.
For it.
For it.
Even with more champagne, it's quite good.
Oh, okay. Hey, well, fill me up a little bit there.
Oh, I thought.
Here, I'll be your buddy.
Not with your glass, with the champagne.
Resolution number 2, gentlemen, that this article shows is manage your debt, which is really talking about getting out of debt, I think. We all know that getting into debt is a big problem for almost everyone, no matter your income level, no matter your net worth level. I think that we're all against debt.
Again it.
Is anyone here for debt?
Not even a little.
No, debt's really bad. This might be easy. So let's talk about ways, if you have a New Year's resolution that is to manage your debt, what is some stuff that you can actually do that's actually actionable throughout the year?
Step 1, don't add any more.
Okay, that's really easy. A New Year's resolution, no new debt.
Yeah. There you go.
Read my lips. No new debt.
That's a bad.
It is. I mean,
history.
just because HW immediately increased taxes, but you won't.
No.
You won't add more debt.
No.
No, sir.
I think
Stay
that is
away
the-
from credit cards. You can't, that 0% or cash back bull crap. You just need to stay
Hey, this
away
is a
from.
family show.
I know.
You can't say
Well,
bull.
that's not what I wanted to say. One of the thoughts that popped in my mind is look at refinancing your house. If you haven't done that, interest rates are going to feel some pressure next year. I think it's an important consideration. Find a mortgage person that you like. Shop around a little bit, see what you can do. But I'm not suggesting you go and cash out and go buy a new Maserati. But I do think that it makes sense to look at reducing your interest rate, and it really does make sense right now, and it probably won't for very much longer.
You're right. That's a great point. Refinancing your mortgage. I have to say though, I worked at the bank in the bank.
Be careful.
For a long time, and so did both of you guys. And I was an idealist. I still am. But back then I thought, I work for the bank. They want me to sell debt primarily. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to help people get out of debt.
With debt.
So I would help people refinance their mortgage. I would help them balance transfer to a 0% interest rate credit card. I would help them get a debt consolidation loan. I would help them consolidate student loan debt. And almost every time that I did that, they just got into more debt because I'd made it easier for them to do that. It
creates capacity for more debt, which is scary. I mean, I have recommended clients to do debt consolidation loans to get out of credit card debt because it's the only reasonable option. But you absolutely have to stop racking up credit card debt. Cut those things up. Pay it off. Get on a fixed set schedule. It's dangerous because you can increase your capacity for more debt. So if you're not good at the budgeting and all the other things, and you end up, hey, Christmas time, you ended up throwing a couple $1,000 more on the credit card, and you're back in that same hole you were. You got to be real careful. That's the next thing I'm going to say is credit card debt from the holidays. Get on it now. Get on it now.
Yeah, the best place to start is by not adding, and secondly, then you got to prioritize getting rid of it. Which is why the budget thing makes a lot of sense as the first step.
Yeah,
now you know how much you can actually throw at it.
Find some money in that budget and throw it at this thing. So it's important.
Manage your debt for it again.
I'm for it. You should get completely out of debt. There is no question. If anybody has listened to more than a couple episodes of this podcast, debt is the enemy for financial independence. You need to get rid of it. If you want to retire ever, if you want to retire early, if you want just to have peace of mind and quality of life, you need to manage your debt. And managing is a polite way of saying get rid of all of it.
All right. What's number 3?
Resolution number 3, optimize your portfolio. Blah. This is, we might as well be saying
just spent
mayonnaise.
a lot of time doing this.
Today was our due diligence day at Blue Jay Financial Group, so we were just agonizing over this. And then we joke that the amount of value that it provides might not be equal to the amount of work we put into it, but it is very important.
It is.
So we could probably argue this from a negative, a not optimized portfolio or a really crummy one, which a lot of people have. Let's think about folks that's primary investment is their 401k or 403b, and they're just shoved right into a stable value fund or a retirement date fund that is super expensive and actually not quite lined up with what their financial goals are.
Or a crap ton of international stocks.
Or a whole bunch of international.
Emerging markets, marijuana stocks. Let's just keep going.
There's a lot going on here. This Schwab article, which I should probably reference, it's called New Year's Financial Resolutions.
Ooh,
Get
revolution.
your finances. No,
French Revolution?
Ooh.
The French 70, the 75.
Back on task.
Cue Les Mis here.
I love that. Jean Valjean, and man, that's good.
Sorry, back to it.
Oh, I bet you
Back
could
to
throw
it.
some sweet Les Mis stuff going on in there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But New Year's Financial Resolutions, Get Your Finances in Shape for 2022 by Charles Schwab, written by Rob Williams. He goes to explain optimize your portfolio and why it's important by saying focus first and foremost on your overall investment mix. This is the asset allocation. It is the main thing that drives performance. It says to diversify.
You always say 80-20, right, Jason? Explain that real quick, the 80-20 with asset allocation.
Yeah, I mean, I think folks end up in conservative portfolios when they shouldn't. I mean, that is like one of the biggest things here. We do these risk surveys, all this fancy, ask questions about how you feel at that particular moment. And you might have just had a bad day and fought with your husband or wife. And you're just like, I'm sad about everything. And so I'm conservative. Mm-hmm. No, you can't afford that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, on this, optimize is like the biggest business buzzword baloney crap.
Make it good? Is that what it means?
I don't even know what that means.
That's better than making your portfolio bad.
Why is the allocation so important? And when I say 80-20, where does 80% of your return come from?
I mean, it comes from your asset allocation.
Right.
So that's the point here, is that you can't be all in like the conservative safe stuff. And frankly, it may be wrong at that particular moment. So I guess in terms of optimizing your asset allocation. I could get behind that, but that's pretty meaningless.
Well, you pay somebody to do it, like
Right.
us.
Oh, well, the value there is debatable nowadays. Really,
Sure is.
We spend a day a month on it. So.
well, I think that there's
And a
so
lot
many
more time reading.
yeah, there's a lot of tools out there that you can do a less bad job than you used to be able to do. And I've always said there's good resources out there. There's ways to do it on your own. So asset allocation is important. It's not rocket science. I think we've talked about it before.
Yeah, but there's like a sexy component to this part, like stock picking or picking. Listen, get aggressive. And, that doesn't mean speculate.
Invest for the long term.
Invest for the long term. It doesn't mean speculate.
We have a episode called "Your Risk Tolerance Doesn't Matter," and it's basically speaking to that whole point.
It sure is.
Go back
You need
and
to
listen to
diversify.
that
You
one.
need to allocate your investments right, and you need to invest based on what your goals are, not how your.
I'm against
Burritos
I'm
are.
against it on this one.
I'm for it.
I mean, I'm for optimizing,
for it,
but I'm
but-
against all the
I think it
weird
might
stuff, all the baloney about it.
It probably needs to occur less frequently than what's advertised. What's resolution 4?
Let's
Jason?
rush through this one, guys. This is prepare for the unexpected. I think this is code for have an emergency fund.
Yeah, and it's
Sure
part
is.
of the budgeting one too. By
Yeah.
the way.
Are you guys for having an emergency fund?
Heck yes, I
All
am.
the time.
Yeah, guys, you need cash for emergencies and your known expenses. You can plan for that. Don't be surprised when you get a flat tire. I'm for resolution 4, prepare for the unexpected.
Oh, get a will, get life insurance.
Hey, man. Hey,
sorry.
resolution
Jump
5.
Whoa, I didn't read this article.
Resolution 5 is
Man, you
protect,
saw where this was going.
You're welcome.
protect your estate. Resolution 5, Jason, what do you think people
I'm
should
an
do?
expert for a reason. Get a will, get some life insurance, have it reviewed. I think it's like wills don't need to be that complicated, guys.
They really don't.
They don't, but you have to have one.
And well, it just takes a little bit of time, and it's weird because you have to talk about how you're going to die. Memento mori.
Yeah.
Know that you're going to die, folks. It's going to happen.
This is the do as I say, not as I do. I know.
Do you not
I
have
need
a will?
I just got to do some updating.
I
A
am
lot of
gonna
things have happened since the
Badger
last
you
update.
like you have 2 kids that are teenagers and grown up.
They're not.
I know.
but they will be.
Exactly. They will before you've gotten your will done.
No,
but I
it's,
won't let you get away with that.
I mean, above everything else in this New Year's resolution, that is one that I beg you to do.
Yeah.
There's some
Honestly.
easy stuff too. Review your beneficiaries. You should do that at least once a year.
Right.
Beneficiaries on bank accounts, beneficiaries on investment accounts, beneficiaries on life insurance. Don't let it go to someone that's deceased or someone that is no longer in your life. We've seen that. That's the old horror
Like
story
an
from life
ex-spouse.
insurance. Yeah. That's
It's
something that
happened.
needs reviewed. So I think that's a
I'm
great
for
goal.
it. I'm for it.
I'm for it.
I'm for it. I think you need to.
No.
Oh, for it. Sorry.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
for it. I ain't again it.
All right.
I would say work with your financial advisor if you have one.
If you're
Work
paying
with
a financial advisor
Yes,
already, they will
should be
help you
doing
with
this.
They should.
And if
direct you in
there's
the right
a
way.
competent attorney who is not trying to sell trusts,
Yeah.
maybe get with one of them
Who
too.
will give you a trust if it's what you really need.
If it's what you really need, but be careful. We talked about that one once. So, yeah,
Yeah.
hey, these are 5, I think in general, pretty good resolutions. Wouldn't you say, in
Yeah.
general? Everybody, for the most part, for it?
For the most part, I'm for it. I think this is great, Caleb.
I'd wrap it up like this. Don't give up early on these ones. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again, but keep on these things.
And I have to give a plug. A good financial planner is the kind of person that will keep you accountable. Kind of like having a personal trainer or a nutritionist. Will help you lose weight. And
I know I need one of those, man. You don't have to like be cryptic.
Hey, Kelsey Gurley at Basic Body Solutions would be a great.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Hey, you need to stop embarrassing him publicly like that.
We're all quite out of shape.
Some of us
And
are,
I love you guys, and I want you to take good care of yourself.
some of us are more shapes than others.
A pair's of
Hey,
shapes.
this is a good episode. And guys, last episode of the year.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
Happy 2021, everyone. I hope. I mean, it should be like 2021. I'm happy it's done.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. That's good.
there were some good times. There were some bad
2021,
times.
we had a lot of fun.
You know, it's always a good time. Closing time.
Close it out, Caleb.
Hey, folks, thanks for having a drink with us this week. It's time to close out the tab. If you have a question or a topic you want addressed on the Old Fashioned Finance podcast, be sure to email us at speakeasy@oldfashionedfinance.com. We would love to hear from you. Don't forget to share the show with someone you love or just someone who needs a little money muddling themselves. You can stay up to date with all the latest action by following us on Facebook and Instagram. Old Fashioned Finance is brought to you by Blue Jay Financial Group. That's bluejayfg.com. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well.
BlueJFG.com.
And produced by Podastery Studios. We've been your hosts, Jason, and Caleb. Cheers.
Blue Jay Financial Group, LLC, Blue Jay, is a registered investment advisor registered with the state of Ohio. Registration does not imply a certain level of skill or training. The presence of this advertisement on this podcast shall not be directly or indirectly interpreted as a solicitation of investment advisory services to persons of another jurisdiction unless otherwise permitted by statute. Follow-up or individualized responses to consumers in a particular state by Blue Jay in the rendering of personalized investment advice for compensation shall not be made without first complying with jurisdiction requirements or pursuant to an applicable state exemption. All verbal and written content on this presentation is for information purposes only. Opinions expressed herein are solely those of Blue Jay, unless otherwise specifically cited. Material presented is believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations are made by our firm as to other parties' informational accuracy or completeness. All information or ideas provided should be discussed in detail with an advisor, accountant, or legal counsel prior to implementation.